Going to give it a minute for people to join. I'm going to add another stream to this. Going to get going in a few moments. Just want to make sure everyone gets on here. Um, been a while since I've done a live, but I just want to. Okay. So just want to say hello to everybody. Thanks for joining. I just want to quickly go over and address some of the issues with the recent news article that came out about the New York State threatening to take over the Mount Vernon Buildings Department. As you can see, this is an article that just came out recently um, it was published in the General News, picked up by AOL, and I just want to scroll down and show you some of the pieces in the article. It's published on June 3rd, 2024, and it talks about how the Mount Vernon Building Department in New York has been maligned and it faces a takeover by the state of New York for not conducting inspections and also fire inspections. Now, I'm a little puzzled by the claim that they said inspections weren't done going back to 2009 because that was a big push as part of my administration was to make sure that the fire department went out and cut and conducted inspections. I do know that lots of documents that were left behind by my administration seemingly disappeared. I don't know why, but I can only tell you that um, some of the stuff in here is really troubling because you don't want your building department to not function, and that's a local resident who's displeased with the situation, just as I am. But I do want to just come down to this piece right here, where the city spokesperson, I'm gonna highlight it so you can see it more easily. The city spokesperson basically said that they're looking for ways to bolster the building department, and they talk about how this is where it really gets me upset and why I'm really responding to this right now is because the suggestion is that prior to the current mayor arriving in City Hall, he's saying that there were problems in the Mount Vernon Building Department and they cannot speak, we cannot speak for, and I'm quoting, we cannot speak for decisions made by previous administrations, but we are fully committed to addressing these issues moving forward. So they shouldn't be speaking for the previous administration because they can't. And all they can do is show their actions. They've been in office for 4 years, going on 5 years now. And for the building department to be threatened with a state takeover is their full fault. And I just want to point out why this comment and this suggestion by the city is not only a blatant lie, but I feel like it's like defames me because they're trying to say that we messed up the building department and left them with a big mess. That's not true. They came in and dismantled the entire system that was put in place to fix the building department. And in the same article, it talks about the letter from the state of New York, where the state goes on to recommend that um, the 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 city engage third party um, vendors to help them. And this is a resident that's trying to, get a building permit after 2 years, trying to sell his home, and he's still waiting. Um, Now, the state talks about, a lot of things that the department was understaffed. We know that, but it really talks about, you know, providing resources to the department, which is doable. you don't really need the state to come in and lay out the things to do to fix it. You're supposed to know what to do. That's part of the reason why you go into office. You have an idea of what to do to administer and run the affairs of the government on behalf of the people you represent. So I just want to also take issue with the fact of, what they're saying, well, we can't find experienced building inspectors. That's not entirely true. What is true is that the current administration lied. They lied, and they are trying to make it seem as if it's somebody else's fault when they did this. They literally, deliberately dismantled the outsource service model that I put in place to process permits in as fast as 1 day or 8 days, or it depends on what the project was. We knew for a fact that we did not want permits outstanding more than a month. So the whole objective was, my belief was, God made Earth in 7 days. You should have your building permit in no more than 8, because we're human, we're not God. But at the very least, we're trying to make sure the permits get processed very fast and fair. So I just want to take a quick stroll along memory lane, and I'm going to take you to a the permit in a day video where a person came into City Hall to get a building permit, and you'll hear directly from them. So here we go.
Hey, how we doing? Charlie from RSG. First time in 30 years, I walked in and walked out with a permit. Great job, guys. Keep it up. It'll be a pleasure to do work in Mount Vernon again.
Thank you, thank you. Hey, you
I really, appreciate you guys coming in, doing your stuff the correct way, following our rules and getting your job done the proper way. And we're here to help you, make sure that your project is on the way and everything is completed. Following up with you with your project, making sure that, if you need anything else, reach out to us. Let us know. When you're ready for your inspection, you call for your inspection and get it done the right way.
Very good. It'll be a pleasure.
And let me just tell you something. It's this small staff that we have here. We have a skeleton staff, however, somehow we survive.
And you get it done.
Right? Somehow we survive when we get it done. And it's through streamlining. When I took over this position, I recognized that streamlining the process is what's going to yield the result. So once you streamline it, then you have to start managing that streamlining. So you start managing change. And
You're doing a great job.
The deputy commissioner came in and started to manage that change. And that's how we're able to start issuing permits within 15 minutes, sometimes within a day. So sometime next week I'm doing a presentation called Permit in a Day, right? And
Nice.
so I wish you guys could be here, but I know you're going away, so that's why I will give you a clip, all right?
Okay.
So good to see you. The skeleton staff did it, not you. All right? Thank you.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you very much.
So I share that to just demonstrate that it was done. And the lady that was wearing the orange dress, she was fired by the administration recently. She hung in there for the first few years of the current administration, but she was fired. That's Donette. And I can only tell you that she was a great professional. She is someone that has a lot of knowledge and wisdom, and she, rose to the challenge that I gave with, former Commissioner Dan and, Dan Jones. And we basically created this system where we invited the private industry in to, talk to us, work with us, and we held meetings on a monthly basis. This wasn't like, you just walked in and found the department, perfect like this. It was it was years of work, is the point I'm making. So I just want to play another video of one of those meetings where a very well-known developer named Joe Apicella, he thanked the Mount Vernon Building Department for the changes that we made so that building permits could be processed. Well, we'll watch John Stewart later, but here we go.
Obstacles that are pretty obvious, fiscal and otherwise, organizationally, the burden that was inherent in taking the job. Dan and his staff have done an extraordinary job. They need to be complimented, particularly for digitizing the system. That, for those of us who have plans that are lost older plans, you have many plans, architectural plans, utility plans, landscape plans. So many times they're approved in pieces. So it's difficult to identify and recall all of those things, and banks require you to do that. So I think now that's a tremendous, it's really not a minor thing, it's a major thing, what you were able to accomplish.
So that was one of the videos, and I just want of one of the meetings that we held, and I just want you to see, that these people came to my office, my conference room, met with me, and it was designed so that every month the building department would give an update as to where they are on processing permits, what their priorities are, and it was a monthly meeting so that people could have direct access to the building commissioner, to the deputies, to the key staff members, not just in their department, but other departments, from fire, from water, you name it. Other agencies attended so that if there was a crossover issue, it could be addressed right away. And of course, I made sure to be there because I wanted to personally see that these changes were being implemented, because everybody likes to talk like they're going to do something, but they don't do it. They just talk. And in the case with the Mount Vernon Building Department, the story that was, the situation that the building department is facing right now, a takeover, it's because this administration totally dismantled the system that I left behind. And I just want to emphasize again, they lied. They lied on me, and they're lying to you. Why? I can't explain it, but it's clear that they are literally lying, and they should retract this statement because they need to take full responsibility for the situation, because a state takeover of a city agency is totally unacceptable and unnecessary. Now, I do want to just now explain how, we started out with making these changes. And I want to play one more video to show you how the Mount Vernon IDA worked to tap different talent pools to immediately assist the building department deal with the backlog and deal with the processing of permits. And frankly, if you go to Wendy's or McDonald's or Dunkin' Donuts or Starbucks, wherever you go for fast food, your building department should basically be the very same in terms of customer service. It should be fast, it should be fresh, and it should be right. Not, you got my order wrong. No, it should be right. And the point I'm making is, we looked at this and we tried a couple different ways to get cooperation and support from the city council and the city controller to help us build out the staffing in the department, because we didn't want to have to bring outsiders in. We felt, what, we could reasonably afford to hire a few more people to do this work. Again, it's a division of labor, it's time and materials, right? But the controller and the city council literally defunded the majority of the positions in my administration, from the police commissioner to 100 other positions throughout the government. So to now be faced with that, situation, I was like, how do you provide a service without even having people to provide that service? That's where we went and researched and said, what, we have the legal authority to outsource some of this work because, the state says we can, one, the law says we can, two, and three, other communities do it from time to time. New Rochelle, White Plains, they do it. And you see their communities blossoming, including Yonkers. Their community is rising. Meanwhile, Mount Vernon's trapped in this donut hole. So I said, okay, I looked at the numbers, and I'm going to let you see for yourself that once you start making these adjustments and allowing private sector to support the local government, you bring in people from the community that have a vested interest, and you engage them, and you get out the way, get the politics out the way, you can have a tremendous outcome. And you're going to see this in this next video. Take a look.
Today we're going to talk about your local building department. First, let's examine how building departments work in healthy cities. When properly staffed and efficiently run, a building department is an economic engine conducting plan reviews, approving permit applications, and literally making a city grow. This keeps a city safe, residents happy, and business booming. A good building department is also a source of revenue for the city, raising money and taking the burden off of taxpayers. Let's make believe this food truck is the Mount Vernon Building Department. The residents and business owners are the patrons. As you can see, the line begins to grow quickly as the truck is understaffed. Current staff can't keep up with demand. This frustrates the residents and makes the business owners start to question their choices. Let's compare this to other similar cities, New Rochelle and White Plains. As you can see, sufficiently staffed and funded, the lines move. Residents are happy, businesses can open or expand with minimum delay, the department makes money for the city, and the economic engine runs full speed ahead. Residents waiting at the Mount Vernon truck grow more frustrated, and the city suffers financially. In 2016, for example, Mount Vernon lagged well behind the other cities in revenue generated for the city. To fix the problem, the Mount Vernon Industrial Development Agency stepped in. It brought its economic engine to boost the stalled food truck and got the line moving again. Customers were served, businesses were happy, and the city of Mount Vernon saw a dramatic spike in revenue. We all know the importance of a healthy building department. The administration's budget updates technology, increases staff, and strengthens essential services for the department. It's time for all of our partners in government to join with the administration and provide the funds and staffing the people deserve. To help
So I share that with you again to just show that, look, this is what happened. And I just want to be very clear that the Mount Vernon IDA, under my direction, we engaged third-party vendors that essentially charged for their time and services. That's what you do to help get the economy going. And if you look at the 2016 to 2017 difference, in 2016, yeah, we only cleared $11,000 as a department. Meanwhile, other communities were clearing, White Plains cleared 1 million. So how can a city, Mount Vernon, clear only $11,000 in net revenue to go toward, the needs of the community? $11,000 not enough. $1 million, White Plains, a smaller community, but still bigger in terms of size and the types of composition it has from businesses that are in there. It's not that much different. It's basically just there's something wrong, right? There's something very wrong. Even New Rochelle had $500,000 that they cleared. But once we got in there and said, look, we're going to refocus on making sure permits are processed properly and support the city, the people, you see circled in red, $1.2 million we were able to generate in less than a year. So it's not that difficult to fix. We didn't have millions of dollars that this administration, the Patterson-Howard administration, got from the federal government for COVID. We didn't have the monies that we believe we should have had access to from the city council and the controller. We had nothing but political problems because people didn't want Mount Vernon Building Department to change. There are forces out there that obviously benefit from the Mount Vernon Building Department being broken. And I think it's a bad mistake for the state to take it over, because then we're going to have a situation where we're going to have to go to complete outsiders to get our permits processed. I think it's ridiculous that the state has to come in, and I'm hoping that the city council and the current controller takes a very strong stand to support the changes needed to ensure that the state does not take over the building department. I believe that there are enough people that live in Mount Vernon. There are enough people that are retired. There are enough people that are home from college. There are enough people that want to see Mount Vernon succeed that will, I believe, team up to help get the building department straight on the right path again. So I just want to come back now to, the article about what was said and what needs to be done. It's clear that the Mount Vernon Building Department needs to be fixed again, but it was broken by the Shawyn Patterson-Howard administration. There's no doubt about it, because there's no reason why you had, again, videos on YouTube of me meeting with developers and people wanting to get their kitchens and back decks fixed. They're putting in their plans, from realtors coming to the meeting to ensure that they can do closings. But now in Mount Vernon, title agencies don't want to do titles. It's very hard to sell your property because of all of the dysfunction that was continued by this administration. I was stopping it literally, but political forces said, you know what? We got to get this guy out the way and get their person in that will continue to weave a false narrative. Because again, while they cannot speak for my administration of what I did to ensure that the building department worked, This is the current mayor, Shawyn Patterson-Howard. That's her, right? So you have to ask her, why are they lying on me? We did it. We did everything right. We delivered, we performed. And we have to ask, who is she really beholden to? Because this does not make any sense. You had a fully functioning, high performing building department generating at least $1 million in net revenue for the city every year. The fire department, they were directed to do their fire inspections. That was part of the deal with their contract, but yet no inspections have been done over the past several years. Why? You can't say, oh, we can't speak for previous people. You speak to yourself. This current administration was in office for the past 4 years. They're going on year 5. You tell me. Thank you for joining this live stream. The links are in the description to the videos. I hope you share the news. And if you have questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me. But I felt very, very moved to respond to this because it's wrong for them to lie on me. I'm just going to tell the truth on them. Take care and have a great day.